Hello and welcome to part 6 of the SP review of 2024. We have reached November and December. Basically now, it's kind of like looking back at something, but it's like looking back at this morning. If you've got a really short memory, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I forgot that happened. Let's go, see what happened in November. Lots happened in November, including International Men's Day. I wrote a really excellent post about International Men's Day. It was deep and it was thoughtful and it was clever and didn't make the top 5 because you don't care. Yeah, that's you I'm looking at. What also didn't make the top 5 was Kemi Badenoch didn't make the top 5 by becoming Conservative Party leader. Bit mean. The Archbishop of Canterbury resigning didn't make the top 5. I think that story was something of a slow burner. Here's what did make the top 5. Kids should wash their hands was at 5. Yeah, that made the top 5. The UK Health Agency said kids got to wash their hands. And we all remember, we were told during the pandemic we had to sing Happy Birthday. And Giles Brandreth did a whole thing about the owl and the pussycat. My youngest, I caught making tap noises with his hands to pretend to be washing his hands after he'd been to the loo. Why? Surely it's less effort to just wash your hands than it is by the time you've done the whole simulation of going next to the tap. Kids, wash your hands. Just do it. Just do it. Then we won't all get sick. All right? You a kid? Wash your hands. Even if you're not, still. And at 4 was millions of people signing a petition asking for a general election. This was a petition, it was a very vague petition. It just said, can we have a general election, please? We'd like a general election. And it was quite intelligent that it was vague because you had the people who don't like Labour on the right-hand side of politics, you know, your reforms and your Conservatives, they voted, they signed the petition. You don't sign a petition anymore like that, you just click. Yep, that's me. They wanted a general election. And then the people on the left of Labour, you know, like your SNPs and your Greens and maybe even your Lib Dems, they might hover about somewhere else. They could also sign a petition. But of course, it's all meaningless. There's not going to be. We've just had a general election. We're not going to have another one. The Labour Party won by miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. So the Post said there isn't going to be a general election. Ofwat are the people who are in charge of the companies who give us water. You would have seen sewage is going in our water, like a lot. So we can't swim in it very occasionally so that they have to shut off you can't drink it. Like that's very rare. Our water companies aren't really doing what we'd like them to be doing. They're going to stop them getting some bonuses, or they're going to stop bill payers' money being used for bonuses. They get other money from other places and they can use that to pay bonuses, but they can't use bill payers' money to pay bonuses. In at 2, November 2024 will be remembered across the world for the year that Donald Trump became elected as president of the United States of America for a second time. In at 2 was the UK responses. And generally, people in power who will have to deal with him, so the Labour Party went, oh, we look forward to working with President Trump. That's going to be very nice. And David Lammy had to pretend that he hadn't said lots of terrible things about the man. And then over on the other benches, for people who aren't going to be working with him, like Ed Davey from the Liberal Democrats and the SNP, they went, oh, we hate him. Oh, what a terrible man. We're never going to work with him. Oh. And then you had Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage likes talking about what good friends he is with Donald Trump. A lot. He really wants you to know. If you wake up in the morning thinking, I wonder who Nigel Farage is friends with, he wants Donald Trump to be on the list. Top of the list, probably. And in at number 1 was assisted dying. MPs voted by 330 to 275 to allow the terminally ill assisted dying bill to go through to the next stage of parliamentary scrutiny. And that's a story that we're going to talk about a lot more in 2025. Ho, ho, ho! It's December. And it actually is December. So I'm pretending to be all Christmassy at the same time as actually being Christmassy. and it's all very confusing. Now, we are recording this on the 13th of December, which is less than half the way through. So you will be watching this after we've recorded it, because that's how filming works. There may have been something big that happened in December that we're not going to cover here because we don't know what's happened yet. I'll put out something schmaltzy around Christmas time and say, oh, I love you guys, because that's what I do. Probably you'll go, oh, push off, Tatton. But some people will go, oh, I love you too, Tatty. And I'm like, oh, and it was beautiful. And I know that some people really hate it when SP does that stuff. But I can't, it's what I gotta do. That'll probably get lots of likes. That'll probably be the biggest likes, most liked post in December. But so far, the biggest post, the most liked post has been about the wonderful Charlotte John. She has finished her doctorate. She is now Dr. Charlotte John. She finished her PhD. That's not in the top 5 because we want to talk about some of the issues in the top 5. But well done, Charlotte. You're amazing. In at 5, the life expectancy gap. If you're poor and you live in Blackpool, your life expectancy is a lot lower than if you're rich and live in Kensington and Chelsea, like 10 years. A huge amount of life because the rich live longer. Not only do they have easier lives, they get more of it. There are some really interesting questions about what level of inequality is acceptable. It doesn't matter if things are unequal, if the base level is good enough, right? If everyone lived for 100 years, it wouldn't matter that some people live for 150 years because the 100 years is a nice long time, right? I mean, it sounds like a horrendously long time. But if the baseline is okay, is inequality a problem in and of itself? Is a question I ask a lot, I think about a lot. But 7 years difference of life expectancy for a man in Blackpool and a man in Kensington and Chelsea, it's a lot. In at 4, driving tests. Before the pandemic, if you want a driving test, you learn to drive, 17, learn to drive. Want a test? Yeah, no worries, we'll see you next month. All right, bye, go and learn, come back. Oh, you failed. Do it again. That's what happened to me anyway. Now, oh, you learned to drive, are you? I'll see you in 2032. There's just this huge, long driving test waits, and they're trying to sort it out. It's all the pandemic's fault. Obviously, during the pandemic, there just weren't driving tests because you had to sit in the car with a stranger for like quite a long time while the stranger told you how terrible you were at driving. That might just have been me. My stepson, my lovely Elliot, is learning to drive right now. He's 17, he's learning to drive. And he was told to book a test, any test he could get. And he's booked one in for May in Ipswich. We don't live near Ipswich. But he said, as soon as you're on the system, then you can get cancellations. The driving instructor are telling them to try to hack the system like that. Once you've got tests being booked to hack a system, the whole system's done. The whole system is broken. And it needs sorting because 17-year-olds, they need to get around. And then I need Elliot to give me a lift, maybe like to the pub or something. That'd be cool. In at 3, it is the Elgin marbles. It's the Greek statues. It's the pieces that we stole from Greece. And hey, maybe if we hadn't taken them at the time that we took them, they wouldn't have been looked after as well as we managed to look after them, because the British Museum is a great museum. And it's been a great museum for a great many years. So maybe when we first took them, we had some possible justification. We could look after them for a bit. That justification is no longer there. They have an empty museum. The Greeks have a museum in Athens, or like a wing of a museum, state of the art, ready for these things to go back in. We're not getting them back. This story is not going to go away until we do. And then presumably when we do, it won't go away because people will be like, oh, we shouldn't have done that, because people disagree, and that's fine. It's another one we're going to hear more of in 2025. In at 2, the first train services have gone into public ownership under the new Great British Railways Act of Parliament. If you use those trains, coast to coast, I think was one of them. If you use those trains, you will notice no difference whatsoever for now. Your train fares are going to continue to go up. There will still be a bewildering array of train fares available. Your train might still be delayed. Change will come. There's what the bill says. It won't come quickly. So just chill out a bit on it. All right, calm down. Goodness me. Don't get a coffee or something. And at number 1 in December by now, because we're only mid-December in reality, but at number 1 in December was the Liberal Democrat symbolic vote on proportional representation. They won the vote just, and they all celebrated and cheered and whooped and waved and all of that stuff, and then it meant nothing. I don't know. At least we had that moment. It's quite nice to have a moment of joy in the House of Commons in December. Ooh, a bit of joy. It's not enough joy, it's cold, it's wet. People are on their own this Christmas. Mince pies are more expensive than they've ever been. Last ever Gavin and Stacey. Probably make you cry anyway. At least we had that vote. And that is the end of the end of the end of year review. 6 videos, 12 months, 365 days. It's been a lot. Thank you for joining us for however much you've joined us for. It's been pretty wild looking back. I hope you had a lovely Christmas, or you have a lovely Christmas. I hope you get lots of copies of The Breakdown, available in all good bookshops and at spstuff.co.uk, where I will sign it and put it in the post for you. And that's it. 2024. Done. Another year done. Another year older. Another just begun. Oh, I'm a poet sometimes. Thank you so much for joining me. Love you. Bye.